method B? Okay. Looks like a lot of you are already done. There's no equal sign in the beginning. Okay, what did you notice? Yeah, so for method B, they simplified before they multiplied. So they reduced to get the answer of 1x over 12. Here they multiplied straight across, and then they reduced. Either one is fine. When you get to tougher problems, however, when you have a lot of variables going on, when you have a lot of factoring, the most preferred method would be method B, to be able to reduce before you multiply, or sorry, before you answer the question. Before you multiply. Oh, my brain. Again, because it gets really messy. So make sure you kind of understand that. I'm going to go back up here and show you what I wrote down for this part. Okay, method A, again, they multiplied first, and then they simplified. Method B, they simplified first, and then they multiplied. Okay. What method do you prefer? It's kind of up to you. You can do either one, but I'm telling you, when you get to that really hard problem, which we will have a couple of those, it's going to be a lot of messiness. If you're not organized, though, then you might prefer method A if you're not organized. Today, I really want you guys to work on your neatness of your notes, because this gets a little bit tricky if you can't follow your own writing. If you have highlighters, get them out. And if you have a different color pen, that might help you as well, because we're going to be doing a lot of canceling today when we're simplifying. Okay, highlighter would be very beneficial if you have one. There are markers in the back if you need more of them. So let's flip. Let's look at number 2. In this problem, what she did was method A. She multiplied first, and then she simplified. So as you can see here, that's a lot of work. Let's see how it works if we did method B, where we simplify first, and you can kind of tell me which one you guys prefer. So complete the same problem. I'm going to write it out. I have 5x squared over 3x squared minus 75 times 3x minus 15 all over 4x squared. I put 75, sorry, if my handwriting's not as neat as Mr. Truesdale's is. Okay, when you're simplifying, you want to factor anything that you can. So we want to factor first. Factor everything that you can, including the numerator. Let's look at each piece. Nothing I can do here. I can't factor anything. Move on. The bottom, what can I factor out? Good, the 3. And I'm left with x squared minus what? Okay. Can I keep going with that same exact piece? 75 divided by 3 is 25. Good. I can keep going with this one. I'm going to rewrite it out. X plus 5 and x minus 5. Now again, we're going to say it a million times. You need to make sure you know how to factor, because this is when it's going to be that one step of many. It should just start being like this, and if you're not at that point, you really need to seek out extra help. Okay, very good. So now let's look at this piece. Can I factor out something here? Yeah, what? A 3. So I'm left with 3 times x what? Minus 5. Can I factor anything on this part? No. Okay, now let's take a look at it. This is when you want to simplify. You can simplify anything on the top with anything on the bottom. So I'm going to take each piece. Is there a 5 anywhere on the bottom? Yeah. Just a 5? Yeah. Just the number 5. Yeah. Not a group with 5.
You can't have an x minus or plus 5. It has to just be 5.
It has to just be the number 5. So no. What about x squared? You don't see anything on the bottom with x squared? You do right here in green. Gone. This is why different color pens might be nice to kind of see that we're canceling these out. Now let's look. Is there just the number 3 on the bottom? Yeah, gone. Is there a group of x minus 5 on the bottom? Gone. And there you go. So this is where a highlighter might be very nice because now you're like, oh, what's going on? There's a lot of stuff going on. So take a look. I have 5 left over and nothing on that other piece. And then I have x minus 5 left over and 4. Everything else was canceled. So now when we simplify it, we are just left with 5 on the top, 4, good, and x plus 5. Now, don't forget step 2, which is list the restrictions. You have to list the restrictions when you factored everything out. So take it piece by piece. What makes this guy equal to 0? Negative 5, so x cannot be negative 5. What about this one? It's canceled, but you still have to talk about it because it could make the problem equal to 0. So what makes that one 0? 5. What makes this piece equal to 0? 0. Okay. I'm going to. Yes, when you have to do the restrictions here, it's everything. I recommend looking at what you completely factored out. Everything that you factored out, list your restrictions. If you feel like you will get confused because you crossed them out, then do the restrictions before you start canceling. It just, however your brain works.
Just like when we were canceling to get the whole, you guys are still including that in your restrictions. It's the same thing. Okay, even though you're canceling here, it still has to be included. Because at one point it was on the bottom of your fraction.
When you're done, flip the pages so you know we can move on. So very, very tedious. Make sure that you're taking very strategic notes here, very neat notes as best as you can. Because again, it's going to get a little bit tougher. Okay. This one's a little bit nicer than the last one. Can I factor any pieces of these? No, so now we can just move on to canceling something out or reducing here. I can reduce a 3. What does the 27 become? A 9. I can reduce the 2. What does the 4 become? 2. What else? The A and B, let's just take it one piece at a time. The A's. Now let's look at the B's.
1B.
I can factor out 1B or I can reduce 1B. So I have 2 on top. What does it become? 1B. And then that is and that's canceled. Same with the C. I have 2 on top and I have 1 on bottom, so now I only have 1 on top.
Is that a 1? No, that was just a slash.
It got like moved when I was writing. So again, now this is kind of where you would use that highlighter. What's left over? I just have B and C on top. And I have 9 times 2, which is 18. Now, you have to talk about every single piece on the denominator to see what the restrictions are. What makes C 0?
0.
What makes A 0?
0.
What makes B 0? So all of them cannot be 0. You could write them all out individually. That's fine. Just trying to save some room here. Questions?
Yes, that's what we told you. It is easier than yesterday. It's not really what makes A, B, and C 0. It's what makes the bottom of your fraction 0. So always concentrate on what makes the bottom 0. Because obviously what makes C 0, 0. Okay, but what makes the bottom of your fraction 0? Can't have that.
Just jump straight to this kid's choice.
We're gonna do this one. Okay, so what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to take at each piece and see if you can factor it. So try to factor. Actually, you know what? Why don't you just try B? See how it goes. I think you can do this one.
You can do it too.
B.
B.
B. If you know sign language.
B. Raise your hand if you need help.
Okay, so very common error. Very, very, very common. You cannot do this. Oops. Can't do this. Because it's a group. They're together. Whenever you have a minus sign or a positive sign, you can't do that. They're a group. All right, so let me go over it with everyone. This factors into 5 times x minus 3. Okay? So right away I know that these are going to cancel. That's fun. I like when we can cancel things. The 3's reduce, and I have 3 on bottom. Getting there. Now here's where a couple people got confused. I have 1x on top, I have 2 on the bottom. That means one of them's going to cancel. How many do I have left and where?
1 at the bottom.
Very good. So I have 1 left on the bottom. Everything canceled on top. But when we reduce things, what do they become? A 1. These are secretly 1s. And if it helps you to write a 1 so you don't forget that, do that. So I'm left with 1 over, let's see, 5 times 3x. 15x. Now, my restricted values. What makes the denominator equal to 0? What makes this piece equal to 0? What makes this piece good? What makes this piece equal to 0? X equals 0. Very good.
Okay, so a lot of you only had the 0 because you're only looking at the answer. You need to make sure you go back and look at the problem. Where can any of the bottoms be 0? Okay?
If it helps you, write them before you cross things out. If it helps you, write them before you cross it out. All right, let's do it again. Here's what I want you to do. Let's just go to the fun 1D. We're going to go to the fun 1D. Yes. It's very fun. Here's what I want you to do. Let me explain before. All right. You need to take a look at every single piece. You have 6 of them. See if you can factor all 6 of them. Not all of them are going to factor, but a lot of them will. So you have to look here. Let's start. What can I factor out of the first piece of this problem? A 7. So I'm left with x minus 1. Can I factor this piece? No. What about that one?
Yeah,
No. What about this one? What can I factor out? A 9. Oh my God. I cannot add today. But are we done?
Wait, is that a cube? No.
No. What can I make this now when I factor? Good. X plus 1 and x minus 1. That's difference of 2 squares. That's why factoring is crucial here. So I'm actually going to cancel the things I have already factored so that I don't get confused on which one to use.
X minus 1.
What'd I do?
X minus 1.
We haven't gotten there yet. Let's take it piece by piece.
She's crossing off the stuff she already factored.
Yes.
So that you don't have multiple.
Yes.
She's not canceling anything.
What can I do on the top here?
X minus 6, x plus 1.
X minus 6 and x plus 1. Again, I'm just crossing it out so that I don't confuse myself when I go back. What about this bottom? There's a couple things we got to do here.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, so we got to take out an x first before you do what we did on the top there. Good. Now we got to keep going because it's not done yet. What'd you say? Good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that x down with it so I can just not look at that problem or that piece. Questions before I move?
As x plus 5.
Oh my God, I'm doing that so much today. My bad.
You're just getting excited.
I'm getting really, I love it. It's so fun.
It's fun when you cross things off.
I like crossing off. Okay, so now let's do the fun part. Do every single piece. Is there a 7 on the bottom?
Yes. No.
No, I don't see a 7. What about x minus 1?
Yes.
Goodbye. See ya.
If you have more than 1, x plus 1.
Only, yeah, that's a very good question. Very, very good question. Yes, there's more than one x plus 1, which we're going to get to that in a second here. But you can only cancel one of them.
Pick the first one.
Pick one of them, yes. But let's just keep going in order. X plus 5, is that on the bottom?
Yes.
Gone. Goodbye.
Bye.
X minus 6, is that on the bottom?
No.
No. What about x plus 1?
Yes.
There's 2 of them. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Just choose one of them. It can only be one. If you had 2x plus 1s on the top, then you could cancel them both. But we can't. So what's left over? Here we go. I have a 7 left and an x minus 6. So 7 times x minus 6. All over. Don't forget about this guy over here. Even though we didn't factor him, he's still hanging out. And this and this. So let's take our time. Do your numbers first. What's 3 times 9?
27.
Boom. What is x squared times x? X cubed. And then we have the x plus 1 left. Okay. Now, here we go. Restricted values. X cannot be piece by piece. What makes this piece in the denominator equal to 0? Ooh, it's 0. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. I want 0 on the bottom. I don't want 0 on the bottom. What makes this piece equal to 0? Negative 1. What about this piece? Remember, just go in order. Positive 1. What about this piece? We already have it. Don't write it again. You can if you want. But what about this one? Already have it. What about this one? Negative 5. Okay? It was really fun. Flip it when you're ready. Dividing.
Where's the complaining coming from?
These people that complain, I don't like them. All right. So same process with one extra step. Okay? When you divide fractions, then remember what I have to do.
Yeah.
What?
Cross multiply.
Not cross multiply. There's no equal sign. Flip. You change what? Now you don't flip this sign. Well, what sign? Yes, you change it to multiplication, and what's that called when we flip it? The reciprocal. Very good. So, 1, factor if you can. 2, multiply by the reciprocal. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, multiply by the reciprocal of everything you're dividing by. Everything. So if I had 2 divisions, I would multiply by both of the reciprocals, which we'll get to eventually. Okay, now here's the trickiest part of all of them, which is the restricted values. For the restricted values, make sure to include the denominators of everything, obviously, what we're used to, the denominators. Also include the numerator of what is being divided. Because when you flip the fraction, you now have something else now that is on the denominator. And it's easier than you think. We'll talk about it when we get there. Make sure that you had those notes for when you go back and you look at them. Did I do
You just
some?
have to look at the original.
I can't spell. Is it an I? Is it this? I am the worst speller on the planet. Don't cheat on your spelling books in 3rd grade, 'cause that's what I did. That was me. And that's why I cannot spell. I was like, just give me your book. Just kidding.
No, we can't spell because there was a initiative when we were younger that just to let students try to spell it however they want. Don't correct their spelling. And so that's why neither of us can spell because we're about the same age.
Yep.
So.
That too. That adds
So.
on to it. Okay, so now let's actually try it. There's nothing to factor, so we're already moving to step 2. So step 2 is just to flip that fraction. So I have 9ab squared all over 4c times, just rewriting it, 5c squared all over 18ab. All I did was I'm on step 2 already because I couldn't factor. Step 3, we're going to simplify. Well, I didn't put simplify, but we have to simplify. What cancels? Now we're back to what we just did on the first page. A and B cancels. Good. What happens to the 9? What does it become? A 1. Good. I heard that you were going to say 0. Okay, what does 18 become? 2. Now let's look at the B squared. I have 2 on top, 1 on bottom. How many is left and where?
1 on top.
1 on the top. Very good. And that one's gone. 5 doesn't cancel anything. Same thing with the C squared. What's left?
1 on top.
1 on top. I like how you're saying 1 on top and not just 1. That's good. You need to make sure that you understand where it belongs. Okay, now we're almost there already. So I have a B left to C. I have a 4, and I have a 2. Bless you. I can highlight the 1. 1 times anything is itself, but that's okay. So I have BC all over 4 times 2, which is? Boom.
You did forget the 5.
Oh my God. I was just too excited about the 1 that I left at the 5.
Wait, does it matter if we have the C before the B?
You can have, I mean, you can have the C before the B, yes.
Can I do a problem for the class?
I keep hearing why. What's the questions?
Wait, why did you highlight the purple bee?
She did.
It was an accident.
It's the one, the imaginary one.
There you go.
You loved highlighting.
Yep, I wanted to do that. Okay, now, here is that step 3 that I told you might be a little tricky. Go to your original problem is my recommendation. What makes this part on the bottom equal to 0? 0. So C can't be 0. What? Well, this is already C, so we don't have to do it again. Here is the only new part. Whatever you're dividing by, you now have to look at the numerator. Because when you flip it, it now is in the denominator. Okay? So what makes the top here equal to 0? 0. A and B cannot be 0 as well. You have to talk about that.
So you're going to look at the original denominators, and after you flip it, you have to look at the denominator. Yeah.
Why did she only do the second part? Like, why did she?
Because when you are dividing by fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. You don't change both of them.
Does it like matter?
Have you ever heard of Miss Ava?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of the term called KFC? When doing this?
What'd you say?
KFC.
KFC?
Yeah, like when doing this.
Yeah.
You heard?
So anything you're
I have not.
dividing by.
You haven't? Oh.
That's
Well, it's
why
like
it matters what order you divide it.
so. I just always write KFC over the thing. So
I know what you're talking about, though.
flip, and then-
Yep. Keep, flip, and change, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, KFC if you like some KFC. Keep, flip, and change. Keep, flip, and change. So like keep, flip it.
Oh, here. Sorry. So you keep the first one. You flip the sign.
You flip the sign and you change the fraction. I would think it'd be keep, change, flip, but.
I mean, I guess KFC is just a little bit more of a.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to just move to, yeah, the last one. Here we go. Oh, yeah, this is fun.
Look at that.
Here we go. Challenge. Factor every piece, please. Thank you.
No. Which one? Yes.
Factor every piece. That's your first step in these problems. You have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See if they factor. If they do, factor. Okay, so every piece, I'll give you
5 of the 6 factor.
only one of them does not.
5 of the 6 factor.
You got this. See how rapid fire you can be right now. You guys are factoring very quickly, and that's awesome to see. Some of you. Okay. If you need help with factoring, please get help now. We told you there was going to be one step of many. Here it is.
I know how to factor, I just like using my.
Using your calculator? We'll get there. I just want you to factor right now. I don't want you to do the problem. I just want you to factor.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it for the class. We'll need half of the class.
I'm going to slowly write them up there so you can start checking your answers.
Oh crap.
Careful with the 5s and the 6s. Those are always the hard ones.
Cool story.
You probably need to rewrite this one.
Yes.
Once you factored everything.
We just wanted you to factor right now. I didn't want you to keep going because I wanted you to just be able to factor that part.
There, she's gonna go.
I'm going to go over right now. That's why I just wanted you to factor. All right, so this one. Let's write it out this time before we cancel because it's going to help us a little bit. Actually, no, we have to write it out. Here we go. Rewrite it out. So, the first one always stays. You don't change the first one. He didn't change. But I have to flip every time I see a division sign. Every time I see a division sign, I must flip the fraction. So I change it to multiplication, and now it becomes x plus 6 over x minus 1. Sorry, times x minus 1, all over x plus 4, x minus 4. All I did was switched it. Change the sign. Do it again. I'm having another, every time you see division, I want you to think multiply by the reciprocal. So multiply by the reciprocal, which is this.
It is x plus 6 there, because it needs to add to 5.
Where am I at right now?
You're good.
Okay.
X minus 1.
Now the fun part begins. Now we're back to what we did on the first page. So I'm going to do this just for the sake of time, so I want you guys to have time in your homework. Gone. Woo, fun. Okay. X plus 6 and x minus 6. Can I cancel those? No, they're different. One has a positive, one has a negative. For this one, 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. Okay. So, keep going. The x minus 1, there's nothing. X minus 3, there's nothing. But hey, there's another one. Okay? It's fun when you can cancel. This guy cancels, and this one becomes just one of the x's. That was fun. All right. Not too many that canceled, though. But I have 4 left. I have this piece left, and I have this piece. Write that out. 4 times x plus 6 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. All over 5, x minus 4, x minus 6. Sorry, 5. Don't forget about this x2. How much fun was that? Okay, now we're not done. We have the restricted values. This is the hard part. There's a lot of them. What makes the denominator equal to 0 here? 0. What makes this one equal to 0? What makes this one equal to 0? What makes this one equal to 0?
3.
And this one?
Negative 4.
Whoa, we're not done, because now you have to, every time you see division, you must look at the numerator. This one. Negative 4, we have it. What about this one? Positive 4. I am sorry, I'm going fast.
6.
Let's pause again. Here we go. 0. Negative 6. I know, but someone wants to see it. Positive 1. 3. Negative 4. We're not done.
Positive 4.
Negative 4, we already wrote it. Positive 4. Positive 6.
Positive 1.
Positive 1, we already have it.
That's it?
Lots of restricted values. That was a challenging one. But you did it. Hey, listen, evens only on the homework. Circle it now so you don't do them all. Evens only. Because they copied it wrong.
That hurt my elbow.
Evens only on the homework.
I got hurt my elbow doing that.
So much fun.